Alaska is one of our favorite cruise destinations. We love the culture, magnificent landscapes, glaciers, wildlife, and thrilling outdoor adventures. In this video, we will discuss the don't miss activities, and we will provide details on how to plan your trip so that you leave Alaska with unforgettable experiences.
Hi y'all, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Becky.
And together we're a cruising good time. Alaska is a wonderful cruise destination. There's so many ports, so many cruise ship itineraries to see, and so much to do. What we're going to do in this video today is give you what we think to be the best things to do in Alaska, get down to some of those details on how to see them. Stick around to the end of the video and we're going to give you some insider tips on how to make the most out of your vacation.
First, let's talk about whale watching. Whale watching in Alaska is iconic. Boy, of course, like when you're going into Juneau or Icy Strait Point, you can see whales from the ship. However, what we highly recommend, take a shore excursion so you get really up close. It is fabulous. You get out on the beautiful waters, and your guide will know where to go to see the whales. We have seen a pack of orcas on the hunt. We have had humpback whales like go underneath our ship and pop back up on the other side. We have seen bubble feeding. It is absolutely fantastic thing to do. The two best ports to see this at are Juneau and Icy Strait Point. They're located close together, and it's incredible. Now, we've been on the shore excursion that has a little bit of the larger boats and on the smaller boats. We have had fabulous opportunities every single time. We recommend you take binoculars, cameras, and dress very warmly.
Yes, absolutely. We've been in the rain several times watching the whales, and we've had fantastic weather watching the whales either way. Alaska is iconic for seeing glaciers and is perhaps the best place to see glaciers in all the northern hemisphere, and your cruise line is going to give you some views from the ship of several glaciers on nearly every itinerary. However, we recommend doing some additional shore excursions around glaciers to maximize your time in Alaska.
The first item we recommend is my favorite Alaska excursion, and perhaps one of my favorite excursions anywhere in the world. That is take a helicopter ride and land on a glacier. You get out, walk around the glacier. Your guide's going to drop a pebble into a deep crevasse, and you can tell that it's hundreds of feet deep. You look to the side of the glacier and you can see the rocks that the glacier has pushed to the side, over time. And these rocks are the size of Volkswagens and buses. Until you walk on a glacier, you don't realize how incredibly huge and powerful and awe-inspiring they are. And of course, there's these breathtaking blues there. I wish we'd have photographed it more on our last walk, but it's an incredible experience.
We also recommend a real easy way to go see a glacier from land, and that is the Mendenhall Glacier just right outside of Juneau. It's located in Tongass National Forest, and there's a real easy hike. You can hike down to Nugget Falls. It's about a 20-minute walk from the visitor center there. You can see the glacier from there. You can see those fantastic falls. But even if you don't do that little hike, there's a little trail right there by the visitor center to give you a very good view of Mendenhall Glacier with all the deep blues and the whites and all that in there. And they also have some more difficult hikes if you want to chew off something a little tougher there and get higher up in the hills and all that. Great thing to do. We've seen a lot of wildlife there. We've seen some salmon spawning. We've seen bear cubs at one time off in the distance. There's also the opportunity to go in there by kayaks and rafts, so you can take the advantage of that too and have a little fun that way.
If your cruise goes to Whittier, Seward, and Anchorage, you can do another one of my favorite days in Alaska. So for this one, we rented a car, went out near Portage Glacier where we boarded a small shore excursion boat, and it takes you very close to the glacier. It is a magnificent time. Can't say enough wonderful things about it. And then right near there's a wonderful hiking trail that you can take, and you can see the water from the trail, and you can see icebergs floating in the water, and the blues are so magnificent. It's a great hike. It's really easy to do. It's fairly flat. I can't say enough wonderful things about going to Portage Glacier and then hiking near it.
One of my favorite things to do in Alaska, because I'm a train nut, is to ride the narrow gauge White Pass and Yukon Railroad in Skagway, Alaska. It is just a lot of fun. It's easy to get to. It comes right out to your ship to pick you up, and it follows the Skagway River right up the valley. Goes up to the White Pass where all the gold miners had to get up to go do the Yukon Gold Rush. Very historic ride, a lot of fun, and fantastic scenery on that.
And I absolutely love the history they give about the Klondike Gold Rush during the train ride.
It's also the #1 shore excursion in all of Alaska. More passengers take that than any other trip.
So the next two items we are going to combine together because there's great excursions that have them both. The first is walk through the Tongass Rainforest, which you can do at many different places. The second is to learn more about that fabulous, rich Tlinget culture. In Ketchikan, we really love taking the Ketchikan Rainforest Sanctuary and Totem Park shore excursion.
Yep.
So with this, you're going to go through a hike through the beautiful Tongass National Forest. You're going to have a naturalist tell you about all these different things. You're going to learn a lot on this hike. And one of the best things is the hike has a wooden platform that goes near the creek. And when the salmon are running, the bears come out, the eagles are there. It can lead to some fabulous wildlife viewing. So that is absolutely incredible. Love this hike. Then after that, you'll get to see a Tlinget carver, and he's going to be working on a totem pole. He'll tell you a little bit about what he's doing, and you'll get to see this incredible totem park. It is really beautiful.
Yeah. So another great way to enjoy all this was in Sitka. And they have shore excursions there that take you into the Sitka National Historical Park. And they have a visitor center there with the Totem Pole Museum. Some of these totem poles are over 100 years old. You got a nice little walk through the rainforest, a bridge. You can see some salmon spawning. You may be able to see some eagles. Hopefully not any bears. They will kind of close that up park off if they do have bear sightings. But it's still a great way to see all that culture, take all that in. After that, we went to the Raptor Center right there in Sitka. That's a really cool place where they rehabilitate some injured birds of prey. They try to get them released in the wild if they're able to go out there and fend for themselves. And then we went to learn more about the Tlinget people. We went to the Tlinget Community House right there in Sitka, and they did some dance and let us learn a lot about their culture. I really enjoyed that whole day. That was a lot of fun because it's deep immersion and all of Sitka had to offer.
Yeah, and it was a very moving experience. Really enjoyed it. So, of course, another iconic activity is to see salmon in the wild. There are many places to do it in Alaska. My favorite place to do it, though, is in Ketchikan. I love to walk up Creek Street. I love to look in the water and watch the salmon and some harbor seals. It's amazing. And then from Creek Street, I like to walk up to the salmon ladder. This is my absolute favorite place in Alaska to watch the salmon. So you've got some of them who are trying to make their way up the stream, and then you have others that are going up that salmon ladder. It's truly fascinating, and I could watch it for hours.
Pivoting off seeing the salmon in Ketchikan is to go fishing for salmon in Ketchikan. It is the salmon capital of the world. People fly in from all over the world to go fishing in Alaska. And your shore excursions will usually have some fishing shore excursions involved with it. So you go out there, most common people go for salmon or for some halibut. Everybody I've talked to that's been on one of those fishing expeditions have had just a great time, and they always catch some fish.
And it's also a fabulous journey. You go fishing either by boat or by seaplane.
Another wonderful thing to do in Alaska is to enjoy some fabulous feasts. There's a couple different ones of these. You can either do a seafood boil or a salmon bake. We did a trip in Ketchikan called the Wildlife, Water, and Land Expedition with Seafood Feast. We took a boat over to a neighboring island and had a fishing lodge there, saw a lot of eagles along the way. It was just a lot of fun, beautiful scenery. It was a gorgeous day that day. And then they went through a walk in the rainforest right there. And finally, we had a great seafood feast right there with all sorts of food. Don't come away hungry with that at all. Another time, we were up in Skagway, and we did a salmon bake. And we did that part of a shore excursion and went in to see the suspension bridge over by the Yukon River. You went over in Canada for that, came back. We had a salmon bake just right outside of town there in Skagway. That was also fabulous food. Got our daughter hooked on salmon after that. She came back from Alaska just wanting salmon all the time, and she didn't really like fish before that. So it was just a really good time all in all. Good memories.
One of my favorite activities is ziplining. I love to ziplining, and Alaska is a fabulous place for it. You can do this at Ketchikan, Skagway, Juneau. Fabulous ziplining. You're up in the rainforest canopy, so you get all the exhilaration of ziplining along with just all that natural beauty. So that's, I guess, a 10 out of 10 for me for Alaska ziplining. Another similar activity you can do is ride a zip rider. An icy straight point has the longest zip rider in the world. You take a tram up to the top of a mountain, you can do a little bit of hiking, and then ride that zip rider down. You can get up to 65 miles per hour. It's a very short ride, but very exhilarating.
As promised, we have a few insider tips for you to make the most of your planning trip for Alaska. Alaska is very far north. It's going to have very long days in the summertime, so make the most of that. The first part of that is to pick cruise itineraries that have a long time in port. When you're looking at an itinerary, see how many hours that ship is going to be in those ports, because the longer you're in port, the more you can do. Some itineraries may only have a ship in port for 4 or 5 hours. Others may be in there for 10 or 12 hours. So just watch out for that. Pick the itinerary with the long times in port.
So above, we just talked about the highlights of the must-do activities, but you really want to pack in every experience you can into your cruise. So at each port of call, you want to do 2, 3, or 4 different activities. You want to make the most of your day and just have a credible cruise. For instance, in Skagway, we have gone on that iconic train ride. Then we've had this foodie tour in town and followed it up with the zip lining. It's very important you take advantage of these precious moments in these beautiful ports.
Another key tip is to book your shore excursions early. Whether you're booking it through the cruise line or you're booking them independently, they'll sell out. So be sure to book them early and avoid the disappointment of not being able to make on the shore excursion that you want to do. We have a video out that highlights each port on Alaska, and then we have a whole playlist of a whole lot of Alaska videos that get down in the weeds on each one of those Alaska ports. So please check out our channel and our Alaska playlist. Think you'll enjoy it.
We hope you've enjoyed this video.
If you liked the video, please give us a like and subscribe and turn on those notifications.
Until next time, have a cruising good time.